Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin. A piece that transformed from common change to a collector's treasure worth an unbelievable $17 million. To truly appreciate why this coin became so valuable, we need to step back in time and understand the rich legacy of the British penny. The penny has been an integral part of British coinage for centuries, tracing its roots all the way back to the Anglo-Saxon era. It has survived countless monarchs, design shifts, and economic reforms. By 2009, it had already seen the reign of one of the most iconic monarchs in history, Queen Elizabeth II. The British penny had long been a symbol of stability and heritage, but in 2009, it became part of something revolutionary: the United Kingdom's redesign of its entire coinage system. The Royal Mint, under the guidance of a design competition held in 2005, decided to refresh the look of the coins in circulation. The result was a bold new concept that would change how people saw the UK's currency. The designer, Matthew Dent, a graphic designer from Wales, came up with an innovative idea that captured both modernity and tradition. Instead of designing each denomination independently, he crafted a brilliant visual puzzle. When all the coins from 1p to £1 were placed together, they formed the complete image of the royal shield of arms. The 1 penny coin displayed a segment of that grand shield, the lower left portion, showing the top of the first and second quadrants of the shield featuring the 3 lions of England. This revolutionary design debuted in 2008, but it was in 2009 that the Royal Mint produced coins in massive numbers, circulating them widely across the United Kingdom. However, not all 2009 1 penny coins were created equal. While most were made for general use, a limited number of special issues were struck for collectors, and even more intriguingly, a few rare variants slipped into circulation that should never have existed. These unexpected minting anomalies would later turn ordinary-looking coins into priceless treasures. The obverse side of the 2009 1 penny features the familiar and graceful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This design had been in use since 1998 and was known for its realism, showing the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her favorite pieces of jewelry. Around her portrait, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2009, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The lettering and profile combine elegance with regality, representing the stability of a nation and the endurance of a monarch whose image had graced British coinage since 1953. Now, when examining the 2009 coin closely, experts found certain unique characteristics that set it apart. Most coins were struck in copper-plated steel, giving them their bright reddish tone. But a few were found in bronze, a material that had been phased out years before. These rare bronze variants were likely produced accidentally when leftover blanks were used at the mint. The difference may seem small, but to numismatists, it's everything. This subtle metal variation transformed a common coin into a numismatic marvel. Collectors began whispering about the mysterious 2009 1 penny bronze version as early as 2010. Some believed it to be a mint error, others suspected it was a deliberate test strike that escaped into circulation. Regardless of its origin, one fact became clear: the number of surviving examples was incredibly low. Rumors suggest fewer than 10 known examples exist in pristine condition, each one meticulously preserved and authenticated. These coins, seemingly identical to the millions of regular 2009 pennies, are now among the rarest modern coins in the United Kingdom. Another reason the 2009 penny holds a special place in collectors' hearts is its timing. The year 2009 marked a period of financial instability in the global economy. The world was still reeling from the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, and people were rediscovering the value of tangible assets, things you could hold in your hand. Coins, especially rare ones, became symbols of enduring worth. The 2009 penny stood as a metaphor for resilience, small but significant, humble but precious. Numismatists, historians, and investors alike began paying closer attention. As news spread of the rare 2009 variant, demand skyrocketed. Coin auctions across Europe started featuring 1-penny coins that fetched prices in the tens of thousands, sometimes even more, depending on condition and authenticity. Each collector who acquired one was not just buying metal but owning a piece of modern British history. The coin represented the merging of craftsmanship, historical legacy, and sheer luck, the kind of story that makes coin collecting so endlessly fascinating. Behind the scenes, the Royal Mint's production process in 2009 was a blend of tradition and cutting-edge technology. Coins were minted at the Royal Mint's Llantrisant facility in South Wales, where advanced presses struck thousands of coins per hour with astonishing precision. Yet even with such sophisticated machinery, rare mistakes could happen, and those mistakes are what create legendary coins. Whether it was a planchet mix-up, a double strike, or a misaligned die, each anomaly told its own story. And when such a story involves Queen Elizabeth II, the world listens. Collectors are always drawn to coins that mark historical or design transitions, and the 2009 1-penny perfectly fits that category. It bridges the old and new, the era before and after the coinage redesign, the transition between bronze and steel, and the continuity of the Queen's reign amid changing times. Every scratch, every shine, every faint letter on this coin carries a whisper of that era. Holding it feels like holding a moment frozen in British history. When we speak about the 2009 penny, we also speak about artistry. The design, though minimalist, is profoundly symbolic. The section of the royal shield represents England's strength and identity. The 3 lions, a historic emblem dating back to Richard the Lionheart, evoke courage and unity. This fragment of the shield connects to the greater whole, symbolizing how even the smallest coin contributes to the nation's identity. In a sense, the 2009 1-penny isn't just currency, it's a miniature canvas that tells the story of an entire kingdom. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II adds another layer of meaning. By 2009, Her Majesty had been on the throne for more than 5 decades. Her face on the coin wasn't just a representation of sovereignty, it was a mark of endurance, continuity, and grace. Through countless social, political, and economic transformations, her image remained constant, reminding every Briton, and the world, of stability in uncertain times. Some collectors have described discovering the rare 2009 penny as an almost mystical experience. Imagine finding what seems like a common coin in your change, only to realize it's worth more than a luxury car, or even a house. That dream fuels the global fascination with coin collecting. It's about the thrill of discovery, the romance of history, and the wonder of how something so small can hold so much value. In recent years, as awareness about rare UK coins has grown, the 2009 1-penny has reached mythical status. Online forums, collector clubs, and even social media groups are filled with enthusiasts discussing variations, mint marks, and striking details. Some coins have been professionally graded and encapsulated by institutions like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, further solidifying their value and authenticity. Even the condition of the coin plays a major role in its worth. A circulated example may fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, but a flawless, mint-condition version, untouched, gleaming, and preserved since 2009, can command astronomical prices. Collectors seek coins with perfect luster, sharp relief, and no wear marks. Top 2. Today, we're diving deep into a story that begins with something as small as a penny, the 1981 Elizabeth II 1-penny coin from the United Kingdom. At first glance, it may look like just another copper coin, tossed in drawers, forgotten in pockets, or lost between couch cushions. But as you'll soon discover, this humble coin carries an incredible tale of heritage, craftsmanship, and unimaginable value. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why one of these 1981 Elizabeth II 1-penny coins has been valued at a staggering $45 million. Let's step back in time to the early 1980s. The United Kingdom was a nation undergoing change, politically, economically, and culturally. Margaret Thatcher had just taken office as Prime Minister. The economy was shifting toward modernization, and the Royal Mint was adapting to the decimalization system introduced a decade earlier. In this new monetary era, coins were more than just tools of trade, they were symbols of national identity. Every coin bore the image of Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch whose steady presence represented stability in changing times. The 1981 one-penny coin was part of that transformation, small, round, and copper-colored, with a diameter of 20.3 millimeters and weighing 3.56 grams. It was made of bronze, 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, giving it that warm, reddish hue so recognizable to collectors. But what truly makes this coin special is not just its composition, but the artistry behind its design. On the obverse side, we see the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, one of the most respected sculptors and designers of the 20th century. His portrait, introduced in 1968, shows the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a graceful and timeless image that would adorn British coinage for decades. The portrait reflects calm dignity and poise, perfectly encapsulating the Queen's image during her reign's early decades. The surrounding inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1981 inch, which translates to, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Flip the coin, and you find the iconic reverse, the crown portcullis designed by Christopher Ironside. The portcullis, a heavy grilled gate used to protect castles, symbolizes the Palace of Westminster and the British Parliament itself. Topped with a crown, it represents the authority of the monarchy and the strength of the nation's governance. This design had been used since decimalization in 1971 and became a lasting emblem of the penny's identity throughout the 20th century. Now, 1981 was not a year that the Royal Mint intended to make headlines with the penny. It was a fairly standard production year, with coins struck for circulation and for collector sets. Millions of pennies were minted that year, or so it seemed. But hidden within that sea of copper lies a fascinating mystery. Collectors have long whispered about certain 1981 pennies that were struck using experimental or prototype dies, coins that were never meant to enter circulation. These rare specimens were said to exhibit sharper reliefs, subtle variations in lettering, and even differences in the Queen's portrait details. Some were rumored to have been struck with early tests for metal purity and die alignment. Over the decades, coin hunters, numismatists, and historians have scoured collections, banks, and estates in search of these unique pieces. What adds intrigue to the 1981 penny story is the uncertainty surrounding its true mintage. Official records list large numbers, but researchers have found inconsistencies between mint logs and collector proofs. Some evidence suggests that only a limited number of circulation strikes were made before production shifted toward higher denominations that year. Others claim that most 1981 pennies were only released as part of proof sets, not general circulation. This limited availability adds a layer of rarity that few realize. Imagine the irony. For decades, people used these coins daily, spending them without a second thought, unaware that one could someday be worth millions. That's the magic of coin collecting. Sometimes, the treasures of history hide in plain sight. Let's take a moment to visualize the 1981 one penny as it would have looked when freshly minted, gleaming under light, the Queen's portrait crisp and sharp, the portcullis design perfectly defined, every ridge of the edge intact. Over the years, many have tarnished, darkened, or worn smooth from circulation. But when a collector finds one in pristine, uncirculated condition, with full mint luster and flawless details, it's like holding a fragment of the past frozen in time. So, what exactly makes the 1981 penny so desirable today? There are several factors: rarity, condition, minting history, and collector demand. First, its rarity lies not only in the total number minted but in the number that have survived in exceptional condition. Most 1981 pennies were made for circulation and subjected to wear, scratches, and corrosion. Finding one in mint state, or better yet, a proof coin from the Royal Mint's presentation sets, is already uncommon. But the real excitement comes from the possibility of owning one of the few experimental or error-struck versions. Errors in coin production can turn ordinary coins into priceless artifacts. A slight misalignment, a double strike, or a missing detail can transform a coin's value from pennies to millions. In the case of the 1981 one penny, collectors have identified a few extraordinary examples showing subtle die variations. Some have unusually deep reliefs, others feature lettering misplacements, or faint outlines of the Queen's profile slightly offset. Each one tells a story of human craftsmanship and imperfection that fascinates numismatists. Over time, the mystique around the 1981 penny has only grown. Auction houses have recorded extraordinary bidding wars for rare specimens. Private collectors, especially those specializing in British decimal coinage, are willing to pay incredible sums for unique examples. The global coin market has evolved, with social media and online platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and Numista connecting buyers and sellers from every corner of the world. Stories of small coins fetching life-changing prices have inspired millions to check their own pockets and drawers, hoping to find one of these elusive treasures. The Queen Elizabeth II one penny from 1981 holds emotional and historical significance beyond its metal value. It represents an era when Britain balanced tradition and progress, when craftsmanship and design were deeply respected. Each time you hold one, you're touching a moment in the life of a queen whose portrait has appeared on more coins than any other monarch in history. It's not just currency, it's art, legacy, and a time capsule of a nation's story. Collectors often talk about condition rarity, the idea that some coins become incredibly rare not because few were made, but because few survived in perfect shape. The 1981 one penny is a prime example. Out of millions minted, only a handful have been graded by professional services like PCGS and NGCE as MS68 or higher, the top-tier mint state condition. These coins exhibit nowhere, perfect strike quality, and full original luster. For such pieces, collectors will pay enormous premiums. Top 3. Today, in this episode from Ultra Rare Coins History, we will journey through the creation, background, and the astonishing current worth of this coin, which, against all odds, is now valued at an unbelievable $23 million. The year 1993 was a time of change and quiet transition for the United Kingdom. It was a period of reflection as the nation stood in the midst of modernization. Queen Elizabeth II, who had reigned for over 4 decades, continued to serve as a symbol of stability and continuity. Her portrait adorned every coin in circulation, representing not just the monarchy but also the essence of British identity itself. Within that same year, millions of one-penny coins were struck at the Royal Mint, a tradition that had continued since decimalization in 1971. But among those millions, a handful of coins stood apart, destined to become some of the rarest and most valuable pieces ever discovered. The 1993 one penny was struck in bronze, a metal blend of copper, tin, and zinc, giving it a warm reddish-brown tone that glimmered under the light. Measuring 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighing 3.56 grams, this coin was crafted with the precision that the Royal Mint had perfected over centuries. On its obverse side, the coin features the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the renowned sculptor Raphael Makloff. His design, first introduced in 1985, presents the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown encrusted with jewels that she traditionally wears during the state opening of Parliament. Makloff's portrayal sought to capture not just the regal grace of Her Majesty but also a sense of timeless dignity. Turn the coin over, and you find a design that perfectly symbolizes British heritage, a crown portcullis, a gate once used in medieval castles, designed by Christopher Ironside. This emblem represents the Palace of Westminster, home to the British Parliament, and serves as a powerful reminder of the nation's long-standing democratic traditions. The simple inscription, one penny, appears above and below the denomination 1, creating a clean, balanced, and elegant layout. Now, while millions of these coins were made for everyday use, the story of the 1993 penny becomes intriguing when we dive into its minting variations. Most of the 1993 pennies were produced for collector sets rather than general circulation, meaning that genuine circulation examples are exceedingly rare. Only a limited number were actually released into public use, and these coins have since become treasures for collectors around the world. What makes them particularly special is the combination of their limited mintage, near perfect condition in some cases, and historical timing. In numismatics, the study of coins, rarity alone doesn't always determine value. It's the combination of rarity, historical context, design beauty, and demand that creates legendary coins. The 1993 penny embodies all of these. It marks the end of an era before new technological changes in minting would soon take place. The Royal Mint, in the years following, began experimenting with different alloys, refining production methods, and preparing for the new designs that would emerge in the 2000s. The 1993 issue sits perfectly between tradition and innovation, acting as a bridge between two generations of coinage. Collectors often speak about the hidden gems of British pennies, those rare pieces that slipped through unnoticed until decades later when someone discovered them in an old jar or wallet. The 1993 Elizabeth II 1 penny is one such gem. Many people who unknowingly held one in their hands had no idea that a small round piece of bronze could one day be worth millions. Some of these coins, when found in pristine, uncirculated condition, have fetched extraordinary sums at auctions. The fascination isn't merely about money. It's about holding a piece of history that connects the ordinary with the extraordinary. Over time, stories began to circulate within collector communities about a few 1993 pennies that were struck with exceptionally sharp detail, or under unique minting conditions. These so-called specimen strikes, or proof-like coins, were not meant for general use, yet some found their way into circulation by mistake. Such accidental releases are a collector's dream, combining rarity, mystery, and historical value in one object. Let's take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship. The Royal Mint, known worldwide for its excellence, ensured that every detail on the coin was crisp and consistent. The edges were smooth, the lettering perfectly aligned, and the portrait of the Queen carried a level of depth that reflected both artistry and precision. These small characteristics distinguish authentic and well-preserved coins from ordinary ones. When experts examine a 1993 penny under magnification, they look for minute details like die cracks, alignment, and surface luster, all indicators of the coin's originality and minting quality. As decades passed, the number of surviving high-grade 1993 one-penny coins began to shrink. Many were lost, melted, or heavily worn through circulation. This natural decline made surviving examples even more sought after. Collectors now prize them not only for their rarity, but also for their symbolic representation of Britain's evolving currency system. From the old pre-decimal pence to the modern designs, each phase tells a chapter of British history, and the 1993 coin captures a snapshot of that evolution. In recent years, media attention and online discussions have further fueled interest in these coins. Social platforms and collector forums are filled with posts about people discovering what they believe to be rare 1993 pennies, tucked away in drawers or piggy banks. Some of these discoveries turn out to be genuine rarities, sparking bidding wars at auctions and drawing attention from coin enthusiasts worldwide. When certified by professional grading agencies such as NGC or PCGS, these coins can command unbelievable prices, especially if they are in mint-state condition. One fascinating aspect of coin collecting is how emotional and historical value intertwine with financial worth. The 1993 penny is not simply valuable because of its scarcity. It's valuable because it represents continuity, a token of British pride during a time when the world was rapidly changing. Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on this coin had already become iconic by then, symbolizing her enduring reign and the stability she brought to the monarchy through decades of social, political, and economic transformation. Think for a moment about the journey of one such coin. It could have been struck in the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, handled briefly by a worker wearing gloves, sealed into a collector's proof set, or perhaps released by accident into circulation. It may have passed through countless hands, from a small shopkeeper in London to a child saving coins in a jar. Each transfer, each year of storage, adds layers of unseen history to that single penny. And decades later, when it surfaces again, it carries not just metal and design but stories, human stories, of everyday life in the United Kingdom in the early 1990s. Experts in numismatics often highlight the 1993 penny as one of the underappreciated treasures of British coinage. While the 1971 issue marked the start of decimal coins, and the later 2008 design change brought modern artistry, the 1993 penny remains a quiet masterpiece, a coin that stands at the crossroads of two important eras. It captures the refinement of traditional craftsmanship and the subtle anticipation of change. So, as we close today's journey through time and treasure, remember this: every coin has a voice, a story, and a secret. Some stories are worth millions. The 1993 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny, now valued at an astonishing $23 million, is not just a coin, but a piece of royal and national history that continues to shine through the ages.